today with just these bullet points and thinking about them as like a roadmap of, okay, these are the things that I need to learn, you're going to be much further ahead than a lot. So the first thing I want to highlight and that you write down is something called trains. Okay. So the first one is called search engine optimization. Is that a brand new term to anyone here? Okay. If it isn't, so if it is a brand new term, it's essentially just optimizing your content so search engines love you. Okay. I'll just Google this other one to do. Search engine marketing, essentially paying to appear in results. Okay, I am going to be covering both of these in quite a significant amount of detail, especially SEO and SEM, mainly because that's my background and what I specialize in. Also for a lot of, this is HustleFest, right? So a lot of startups, a lot of small businesses. The thing I want to try and convey to you today is how much you can do for like spending virtually no money at all, if any. So any questions around free stuff, just raise hands and ask, and I'll provide as much as I can. Okay, so number 3, if you're writing these headlines down, is social media marketing. Okay, and then we have display marketing. I love the cameras too, so I ain't writing that. Then email marketing. And then lastly, content marketing. Okay. Content marketing is not a broad one, but as long as you leave here today with an idea of these 6 things, I've done my job, and you can start your journey of learning. Cool. So let's get started. This is Google. Okay. And it comprises of, right at the top, you have what's called your search query. I know this might seem like, well, yes, but it's just to highlight it. Okay. So right at the top, we have your search query. In terms of digital marketing lingo, we call that a keyword. Okay. So whether something's like a tiny word, just one word, or like 2 words, or a sentence in some cases, depending on how niche the search term might be, we refer to that as a keyword. It's important to make that distinction because you can use keywords to target certain things. All right. Again, I'll explain it more if you want, but that's essentially the sort of the crux of this. So what you may have noticed is right along the top, you'll then have your ads, things that no one clicks on and scrolls all the way past. And then underneath that, you have your organized search results. Can I just ask us a question in general? When do you click on ads? By accident. On Google, marketing and just ads in general. Google will only serve ads to you if they believe it's genuinely relevant to do so. Okay? So, and honestly, that's only when I tend to click on ads. If it's exactly what I'm looking for, then I'll click on it because it's convenient to do so. I'll talk about that in a second. So, search engine optimization. The first thing you're going to want to do when you're getting started with SEO is sign up for something called Google Search Console. In a nutshell, it's a completely free tool that it's going to give you some very top-level insights into the performance of your website as Google sees it. Okay? And that's a really important distinction that I need to make with Search Console. It's going to give you insights into the way Google sees your website. Okay? Now this could be really good stuff. It could be, oh, this page in particular is taking a really long time to load. Well, do you think Google to find your content, right? And helping Google understand your website content? It's really important that the content you're creating, or in this case, let's think more in terms of a blog, that it's well structured and well organized. I'm going to give you an example. Hands up who has a specialist knowledge subject that they write for or know about in great detail. Talk to me. No, not at all, because I don't think you're doing anything.
My business is a service which is about how to enable organisations to make their environment more ethical. So it's all about thinking.
Okay, so I might put you on the spot just a little bit. So if you were going to create content for your website, and let's say you wanted to educate somebody, what would what would be a good title for a blog post on your website? Do great SEO. Start with that keyword, okay? Use Google Trends. Look at what competitors are writing. And maybe, sometimes you don't need to be, say sometimes, and controversial is this. You don't need to be original with your content, you just need to be better. So if you go online and you find that someone has wrote an article that you have a specialist knowledge in, and you're like, wait, they've missed out on context here, there's key information that they're not putting in, create that content and just do better than the previous person. Okay? That's way easier than sitting there going, what do I create? Like, just see what's out there and do it better. Does that make sense? Yeah, make life easy for yourself. What's that saying? It's like good artists create and great artists steal. Be great. Not that I'm also stealing, that's purely me. Okay, that's Ian Thomas, not Google. Cool. So this is probably the easiest way to get your business on Google without creating a website or doing anything like that. And that's often a hurdle for people. They're like, well, I want to be online, how do I get online? Using something called Google My Business or Google Business, it is a completely free platform which will allow you to literally put up photos of your business, the name of it, the opening hours, photographs. You can even, once you've added all that information, generate a website from that very quickly. Now don't get me wrong, it's not going to be the next eBay, but it's going to give people a portal to go to connect with you. Okay? Anyone got experience with Google My Business?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's a really good platform, and also it will allow you to advertise through it too, if you want to do. So first port of call, do good keyword research. Secondly, Google My Business. Just get yourself online. Just make sure that you reply to all of them, even if they're rubbish. Alright? It's really important that you show that regardless of the information you're receiving, because at the end of the day, if someone's, what does it, I'll ask you, what does it take you to complain? Sorry, I enough to bad service, what's that? Time, yeah? So, like, for me to actually leave a complaint, to go out of my way, like, I'm genuinely angry about something. So the last thing I want is to A, be ignored, or B, get a reply with like, oh, it's alright, bro. No, it isn't. That's why I'm complaining. Yeah. It's a great question. So there are means. It's a little bit more complicated. I'll answer that at the end. That's fine. Yeah, lads. It's a great platform. What I would also suggest, even if you don't use Google Ads or you don't want to pay, just sign up for it anyway and use all the tools for free. Just don't give Google any money, but use all the stuff. It's really, really helpful for you for keyword research. So yeah, so using Google Ads, you can create something called a campaign. If it's your first time creating advertising in Google Ads, you'll have two options. You can either go down the complex route, and there's a lot of options to Google Ads. It can get quite overwhelming. Or you can go down a route which is a bit more simplified. It's just going to ask you questions. You know, who are you trying to target? Where are you trying to target? Etc. Okay. And in terms of picking the right keywords and writing a compelling ad, the thing we mentioned earlier about advertising, and you click on ones that are relevant to you, the key word or key phrase that you're using for Google Ads, just make sure that it delivers on what they're searching for. I know that might sound like a no-brainer. There's nothing worse than having a campaign that you're spending all this money for to not learn about how it's performing on your website. Okay? So, SMM, number 3, social media marketing. Well, social media can be used in a number of different ways to help your business grow. The first one, obviously, in my opinion, is to generate more sales. But also, I would say it adds an air of legitimacy to a brand that doesn't exist unless you're seen on social. I mean, I'm not sure if it's just me, maybe you can like inform me, but if I see a brand and I see their website, I'm like, oh, this product looks amazing, the reviews on their website are really good, and I try to look for them on Facebook or Insta or even TikTok, and they don't exist. In fact, I'll ask you, what's your feeling when you can't find them? Not real? Fake? Anything else?
Not well established brand.
Not well established? And what does that make you do? Do you buy from them? Yeah, go somewhere else, exactly. And if anything, you go, yeah. Yeah. Marketing and SEO. There's an organic way of approaching social media, just creating content. There's also ads. In a very tiny nutshell, If you're just using organic, you're just posting with no real advertising, you're just going to connect to the people that follow you and kind of the people who are like following them. But long gone are the days, unfortunately, where you can grow organically quite rapidly. I think that changed in 2014. They started being like, hey, they can advertise with us. So advertising on social media, it is really effective if it's done correctly. You can pay for those views, you can pay for those actions or conversions, okay? It really depends on what you're trying to get. Very important with social media marketing, actually on the days. When was I doing this? I was like 18 and I used to work in a call center. So the first job I ever had, it was in sales and it was selling like contract mobile phones. It was horrendous. But one of the things I found really helpful when I was starting off on this like career journey was I used to print off like little like photos of people. And then the moment I pick up the phone and hear their voice, I'd go, you look like that one. It was kind of like Guess Who, you know, the game was like a little thing. So for me, I found it way easier to talk to somebody if I had an idea of what they looked like. And I know that's a hell of a jump to make from just hearing them on the phone, but it made the process easier for me. What does this mean for you? It's so crucial that you understand who your audience are. If you understand who they are, how where they live, what they do, not like in that much detail, but like where they live, their hobbies, what they enjoy, what they like, what they don't like, you can talk to them in a way that they're actually going to respond to you. No, people of London, do you fish? No. There's an old saying, fish where the fish are. Yeah. What that essentially means is you're not going to fish in a pond with goldfish when you're looking for bass. In your sense, you're looking for B2B, right? Or business to business, or that level. In fact, I'll ask you, right? You're the experts. Where would you advertise to connect with fellow professionals? So use platforms that are catered to your demographic. You're going to have information on LinkedIn regarding certain people. For example, I am a CEO of a fintech company. Okay, well then using that information in LinkedIn, you can advertise and tailor your content towards that. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think a follow-up or the problem with LinkedIn is even if you are on their navigator, they respect your investment only 50 a month.
Okay. You want to create email marketing campaigns that are very specific to what people are trying to get. I'll give you a great example. If you were creating an email campaign for, say, a gym, people join gyms for very different reasons. Especially it's like, it's like Valentine gyms, where you go swimming, where you can also get the gym, and there's lots of different things, right? So if you sign up for a gym that offers lots of different things, and they go, okay, here's my generic email, sign up to our mailing list, you get 10% off your first visit. Right? That's kind of compatible. Here's just, hey, subscribe to our newsletter, no one cares. If you incentivize them, great. I'll ask you though, how could we make that even better without giving them like free lessons? So we're capping at 10% money, right? How could we make that campaign better? Especially on the different platforms, but the three that I probably the two that I'm most familiar with, MailChimp's a really good one, like creating email campaigns. There's another one called Klaviyo. There's another one called SendGrid. These are three like pretty decent ones that I've used in the past, but try and find one that works for you. What you can do with these platforms though, is you can create different subscribe boxes for different pages. So if someone goes, so they land on your website and they take the journey to say, I don't know, they're interested in swimming. Well, you can make sure that the email they receive is 10% off their first swimming lesson, right? Or time at the pool. Or for someone else to be at the gym. So what you're doing is you're not just using a name. Really important you do that and personalize it. But if you tailor it to the very thing they were looking at, way more powerful. Okay? And also as well with email marketing, keep it simple. Give it a clear call to action, nice button they can click, go. Alright? Case studies, guides, these all have a similar theme, and that is just making sure you're doing your research in the beginning to make sure you're targeting the right markets. Creating a YouTube video that is informative or is trying to sell a course or something like that, and you probably watch all of these, like, hey, here's my top 10 tips for how to sell to people. If you want tips 11 through 100, subscribe to my thing on Patreon. Okay? That's had research done to it, and the title for that video has been researched So they're like, yeah, you know, this is what I feel is going to be relevant to my audience. But content marketing is very broad and can cover a whole bunch of things. Okay? The one I like in particular though is case studies, ways where you can show exactly what you've done in the past to help. It's not as hard to get case studies as you think. Simply, if you have a client who's happy with you, anyone who's happy with you, just ask them, hey, I really like your story, I love the journey that we've, where they had it. But I love the journey that we've been on together since we started working together. It'd be a wonderful thing to showcase you on my website and link back to your website. That sound fair enough?